Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
The plants and you start breathing some air that's not full of smoke and plastic stuff. Uh, it's a whole different world, and I think we gotta get ourselves out of that quick trap of, oh, we live in the city and this is just how it is. I think the frequencies that we're exposed to are more toxic than good, and I think that's something to be explored here.
And the best way I can explain it is when we're talking about frequency, is frequency is not what hurts you. Tone is. See, frequency, like emotion, is tied to tone, not the frequency. So just because you're hearing something doesn't mean that it affects you unless it's the tone. And
Okay.
that's where we're trapped. The fast food and the drugs and all the crap that's in 90% of the food, it all disrupts that. And it's tone. So that, like, the difference between pain and discomfort. Pain is a bone, your bones hanging out of your leg. That's like, ow, that's pain.
Yeah, that's real
I'm
pain.
in. What pain are you in? Well,
Right.
can't you tell? The bone's hanging out. Or
Right,
in
exactly.
your finger, and you're treating that emotion at the same frequency. It came from the tone. And
Right.
so the separation is where we need to understand that's why a lot of people can't hear God. Or, well, I believe in God, but he doesn't do what he's doing for me. Is because you're not resonate, you're tied to the tone, you're not resonating to the frequency.
Well, and it's interesting because in alignment with what we've been talking about, you talk about God and the tone, and in the Bible it talks about the still small voice, and that is God, right? And we think about God and creative power and the universe and how big God is, but then when God comes to people, he'll either send an angel in a dream or something and knock you out of your bed, or he'll show up by himself and just be this still small voice. And we're busy yapping most of the time, and I know I'm guilty of that because I have a lot to say, but when it comes time to dialing into that frequency, that's where that prayer, meditation, silence, listening comes from. When you listen to the wind blowing through the trees, or you hear the frogs chirping in the creek, that's where God hangs out, in these little quiet places where the small voices are happening.
And that's the thing, like, we need to start chasing our health, because that's wealth. Ooh, that's
Right.
cool. That, like, being rich, is a form of money, or currency, is what we're taught, as we're here. Why? Because that's Lucifer's way of controlling us. The wealth is nothing. Riches is nothing to have to do with a green piece of paper. It's the wealth that you carry within yourself, because that is the riches. And the more we get concerned with ourselves and our health, we realize we are that rich. We don't need everything in abundance. We just need what we need, and that resonates more wealth because we have more health. And I think, like, I would rather have the health that I have right now versus $2 million, because the health I have right now is going to carry me through tomorrow, next week. But that $2 million, sooner or later, I'm going to run out of that health.
Right.
So that's the idea of canceling ourselves when we want to rely on a stranger to fix us as a doctor. We only need assistance so that we can do our job. And that's the alignment of, like, how things are different for me. Is I'm utilizing my time and doing what I need to do in preparation for what's coming. Well, I have surgery coming. Well, I'm not being treated right now. So what do I need to do? I need, to better my health. And that's
another huge point, because people a lot of times that are going through whatever it is, like you're going through a physiological challenge with, your bones and your ligaments and parts of your body that are where they're not supposed to be for, and they have been for a while. So you're dealing with things healing wrong and having to be torn out, put back, and moved around. I'm dealing with, cells that went rogue and started, replicating in a toxic way to the rest of my body. And you go for one doctor and they tell you, okay, well, the next step is this, right? You're going to go talk to this other doctor. The same thing with me. They said, okay, I went to this doctor. They said, okay, well, the next step is this. So that was 3 months ago. What are you doing between then and now to make yourself ready for that next step? And I think that's really important, because I don't know if you've ever been through a surgery, and you have, but I'm talking to the audience. But if you haven't been through a surgery, it's a very traumatic event in your life, and your body gets traumatized in a dramatic way. You get cut open and things get moved around. Maybe something gets taken out, maybe something gets put in, whatever that surgery is about. But your body is never prepared for that. Like, you're going to slice open you and move things around. Now your body has to put it all back together. You know,
yeah,
your doctor doesn't put you back together. The doctor puts everything in place so that your body can do all the work and put itself back together.
exactly.
So what are you doing to get ready for that? That's a big question.
Well, to get ready for something like I may need surgery, I may not. I'm
Right?
I'm not canceling, that possibility, but I'm also not canceling myself out.
100%. I'm in the same spot. I got this friggin' giant lump on my neck, and I'm talking to a surgeon about having him cut it out at the very same time. Every day I go to work on making it go away on its own. And every day I tell myself, you know what? I'm preparing for that surgery because I might decide to go after it. But you know what? I'm also preparing a space for God to just wave his hand and have it go away. And if you don't create a place for that, then how's it going to happen?
Exactly. And that, I think it's developing the uh the right mindset. And a lot of times we're aligned to the wrong mindset, even being taught.
So many times, I think. I think that.
So I think that's like the journey that I'm on now, that I think I'm no longer like being quiet about, is
Good.
the power within our own selves. Because
Yes.
a lot of people, they've approached me and it's like, well, you do 1,000 push-ups, man, you're in good shape. Ah, it's the wrong fucking message,
Right.
like, you want it, everybody wants
They're not. They're
something
not.
now.
They're not thinking about this. That's where you're in good shape. They're thinking
Right.
about this, and maybe you are, maybe you're not. But this is what that 1,000 push-ups did for you.
And I've even, tried whenever I did do the videos, or whenever I was doing all those crazy push-ups and everything, and trying to heal myself, is I was putting together, the message,
Yeah.
the strength, and
Right.
I think that by me not adding to it, just posting like things that I've done instead of the understanding of, the mythology behind the mindset,
Right.
I think is what's been lacking. And now that I've changed that course and on a frequency, I'm more aligned to it, to where it's resonating with a lot more people, because it really isn't about that I've been able to heal, you know, without having a doctor, but it's having the ability to give that to myself. And I think that's what needs to be spread, so that somebody else could do the same, is believe that they have the power. We
That's
everything around us is all assistance, you know?
right.
It truly is up to us what we're gonna draw from here and there and put together our own formula that's gonna resonate and work for us. Because
You
just
just captured the essence of this podcast, of what this whole community is all about. I'm
Yahweh,
not telling you what you need to do for yourself. I'm telling you how to figure out for yourself what you need.
right? And that's where I'll be I'll be doing a lot more, communication as far as like because I mean this is something else I have to deal with. Somebody's always gonna have something that they're gonna have to deal with. But
Right.
having the right tools available to them so that they don't have because everybody's not, this isn't like some superhero story or anything
No,
that I'm about or you're about or
we're
anybody.
all just people doing people's work. That's it.
That's it. I'm going through daily life just like anybody
Exactly.
else. My body is designed just like yours. The
Yep.
blood, the muscle, the
Yeah.
organs, everything.
All of it.
We just have genetic features that are different, but our
Exactly.
body is the same.
We
So
have a unique characteristics that make us uniquely each other, but we're all put
that's
together with
what pulls
the
us together.
same
With
basic blueprint. Yeah.
yeah, if I could do it, that's God showing you could do it.
Exactly.
Why? Because I am doing this, which
Yes.
invokes, the power of God. So
100%.
we need to put that back in ourselves. We need to put that back in our own realm because I mean, I've had those conversations with my girl, like
Yeah.
you're not taking your health serious, you need to go to the doctor and
Right, right,
everything, but it's not understanding that what their man or their spouse is going through
right.
and has to go through in
Yeah.
order to achieve that. And that's the understanding that everybody's in the same boat. We're all it's a system. And if we play the system, it's built to deteriorate us. We need to pull it back to where it aligns to ourselves, to where we're the ones back in control because we know what's wrong. We just need the
Well,
assistance
and the
of
answer is,
them.
if you happen to find a great doctor that communicates with you and is vigilant and has the time and cares for you, then yeah, a doctor could be the best thing in the world. But most doctors don't have the time and they're busy as hell. They have a workload that is 10 times what it needs to be. And they don't have enough time to spend with you because of that. So they get, 5 minutes to hear your whole story and try to come up with an answer. And it's never the best answer. You're the one who has access to your own data. And we don't even pay attention. Like when I talk to people and I say, well, they come to me and they go, I got this problem, that problem, and what can we do? Well, I'm about solving the problem. And so I started asking questions. Well, how do you eat? How do you sleep? What's your stress like? What are you doing with your life? Well, that's what the doctors should be asking everybody. And that's what we all should be asking ourselves. And
Yeah,
mostly I tell people, you know what, start a journal. Just start paying attention to your own shit. How do you feel in the morning? What's your attitude like? What's your pain level like? What's your um how did you sleep? What did you eat? Just let's start taking stock of these things. What medicines you're taking. And then all of a sudden you just write it all down and look at it and you're like, "Oh, I see what's going on here." Because you're now accessing a knowledge that is truth because these are things that happened
right.
and you documented them and now you can look at them because you wrote it down now and now you can go back and these things that happen that are affecting you but you weren't paying attention, you weren't remembering that every night on Wednesdays I eat a greasy cheeseburger with a bunch of bad onions in it, and then in the morning I wake up and I've got heartburn and a headache. I'm not connecting those dots where then you got a heartburn and a headache and you take yourself to the doctor because you think you got some problem.
Yeah,
And the doctor didn't ask you, well, what are you eating, at night? And then you go start taking these medicines and going down this thing. You could have told yourself, stop eating all those greasy cheeseburgers. They're not helping you.
yeah,
But, you didn't get there. So now you go around this long, winding adventure with medicines and tests and money Maybe you find it, maybe you don't.
Yeah. And it's, you know, we just need to, I think, not be silent anymore, you know?
Agreed.
And I think that that's where everything is, you know, algorithm, you know, formatted is
Right.
to, you know, to keep you quiet and to keep you unbalanced, you know, that's not God's message. God
Keeps us
wants,
weak.
yeah, he wants you as healthy as he is, you know,
Right.
and the more we can understand that, it's by teaching. And I think that that's the right message, you know, I think communicatively being able to express your message and that and if you want to call it a physical form, then something, you know, as a workout, I think is more where I'm aligning things is because that's where I'll align somebody else's workout. And I think, you know, just instead of, you know, oh, 1,000 a day, you know, if you break it down to just 40, that's only four, you know, there's
Right.
zeros don't multiply,
Right.
you know, so there's only four. So what's that? Four sets of 10, you know?
Right.
I mean, that's achievable for anybody, even if 10 is, you know, something that is hard to attain at the time, you know? So
100%.
it's just numbers and the mythology behind the makeup of what was created, I think is what needs to be expressed now. And the direction I'm taking everything with the with that is like the business, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I want to come on here, you know, other than I do apologize for being, you know, silent as I have been, but it's
Right.
been
You got
it's
every
bone in
reason
my
in the
neck,
world.
you
I'm
know, my
just
collarbone, you know, feeling like somebody's jammed a bat in my throat, like shut up.
I'm so glad that you're back with us, and that to me is what that's the beauty of the message. You know, I people don't realize like when guests come on the show, they don't realize that sometimes a guest is scheduled 2 or 3 times and had to cancel because of a health issue. You know, a lot of people I have on this show, they don't necessarily sound like it when you're talking to them, but they're going through their own major health issues. And just to be able to, um, carve away 20, 30 minutes to sit on a call for some people is a huge effort and painful and difficult. Or, a lot of people are shy. They don't like to be out there, even though they have these amazing stories. They keep to themselves and all that. But physically it takes effort to do this, and for some people it's a very difficult task. So you and I've been talking about rejoining, for this for a couple of months, but because of the pain and suffering you've been going through and dealing with, it just wasn't doable. So I'm tickled, frankly, that here you're communicating as well as you are. You're speaking clearly and your message is strong, and I love it. Before we get moving along, I want to know, you've got this copper necklace and this bracelet that you've been wearing, and I'm kind of curious about that. What's that all about?
Oh, yeah, that's the it's they're minerals that our bodies are made up of. We're made of 105 different minerals, and two of the minerals that get depleted as we age, no matter what, it's just God's design, is magnesium and copper. That's why, you know, a lot of people wear gold around their necks. It's
Uh-huh.
just not because they want to look good, you know, I have gold. It's
Right.
because of the interaction, you know, it's minerals that your body is pulling from.
Got
So a
it.
lot of people don't understand, like if you could put your meridian lines, everybody has meridian lines. That is your electrical force that connects to your central nervous system, which is your aura. And we have 5 meridian lines on our body. There are 2 on your wrist, 2 on your ankles, and 1 around your neck. So introducing those minerals to the meridian line, that's why they say don't wear an Apple Watch, because you're cooking your meridian line, and that leads to complications in the body and in the brain, which was also proven by the owner of Apple.
Well,
So
the same with these those ear pods. Apparently, there's a
they're
lot of
very, very bad for you. It disrupts the central nervous system and your lymphatic system,
I
and
used
can
to
open
use
up
them
for
a
disease.
lot, and I don't use them anymore for that reason. I can't help but wonder if I damaged myself with the amount of time that I use them. But it is what it is. Now you live and you learn, right?
Yeah, and that's, I've been wearing it probably past 2, 3 months, excuse me, 2, 3 months.
Uh-huh.
Also, any water I drink out of or anything,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of a copper a base. That charges it electrically charges the water, which is based on alkaline. We're alkaline based beings, so the higher pH our bodies are, the less acidic our bodies are. So I've been wearing this. I drink freaking 2 tablespoons of salt, which is
Right.
Celtic sea salt, which is
Huh?
the best mineral salt wise. It's even in my body.
Right.
I mean, even in the Bible, I'm sorry, in the Bible it says have salt with every meal. And
Yeah.
since I've been doing that, I mean, I'm up to 1,200 milligrams a day. I'm
Okay.
191 pounds. I'm only 5'6". So,
Yeah.
that's, you know, what I've been doing, and I've seen a lot of health benefits and changes within me to where, man, this is actually feels great. I've introduced it to my girl. She feels even better.
Nice.
One of the things people need to understand is magnesium. Magnesium is so powerful and such a um, it alkalines the body. It can help repair bones. Like, I mean, if you go to the doctor and you have chest pains, like vascular problems, or symptoms of heart attack, things like that, they hook you to an IV bag. Well,
Right.
that's 9,000 milligrams of magnesium.
Wow.
All it is salt water. And
Right.
they need to, if you're a heart patient where what they do is they call it, they'll double it up, and they give
Right.
you 2 bags of an IV. All that is freaking salt water. So you need to go to a doctor to get that when it's
Right.
something that, is a household item and we've been lied
Exactly.
to all our lives. So,
Yep.
I mean, I've been that guinea pig. I've not really cared about being a guinea pig because I played their game and don't get any help. And to me, I'm more important to my family and being in existence here than waiting
Right.
around for some approval for some doctor to take me serious.
I hear
So,
you.
and there are doctors that do help you, like that, that do their job,
Right.
it's not canceling the doctors out, it's just canceling ourselves out. So me applying these things is just listening to the frequency of Yahweh, of God,
Right.
not the tone of, everyone else emanating saying
All
you
that
need to do
background
this
noise.
or don't, you can't have salt. That's give you high blood pressure.
Right.
Well, then put some cayenne pepper in your water and you won't have blood pressure issues, like
There you
it's just
go.
simple things that we've gotten away from. And it's like we're de-evolving as a Homo sapien type, individuals. We're going backwards and not going forwards. And I've silenced all that and started putting this stuff into my body and started helping me. And that's all it is what is being healthy is about, is what we put as an intake into our body. And that's not only, subliminal, but, psychological as well.
100%. Well, Richard, it's been an absolute treat getting back in the studio with you. And um, I know that you've shifted your focus quite a bit in the last year. You've had all these insane happenings, and you're still driving your boat, towards your goals of health and helping other people find that. Are you doing consultations? You working with people? How's that going right now?
Yeah, I have a few I'm starting to get into the law enforcement district around here and under like consultant fees and
Okay,
that direction to help with like academy, mindset,
nice.
like overall. And a few other places.
Okay.
So that's starting to go, and that's really what resonated, the mindset of, hey, all I had to do was say something, you know, it's,
Right.
I thought I had to do something for someone to pay attention,
Well, it all starts with
when,
those words, though. Remember, words are actions to their own point,
yeah,
but actions that bring the possibilities, and then the actions after the words are the ones that bring the reality. So it's really exciting. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, that's just happened to be listening to this show, and they don't know where you're at or how to reach you, how would somebody get a hold of you?
they, I'm on Yellow Footprint Fitness. That's on Facebook, or you can just email me at Mccuen, MCCUEN .lifefitness@gmail. And we can go from there. We can talk about anything you want, whatever,
Excellent. I will put
workout or,
the contact information in the notes of this show so that way people can find you. I'm really excited to have you involved in our Willow Springs Wellness team as a consultant on the East Coast. And, we're building that. We're figuring it all out, what it means and how it is. But I consider you a part of this wellness community that we're building. And this podcast is part of it. And, the things I do are part of it. The things you do are part of it. So, real excited. I think this is a big piece of what this is all about, as building a community, sharing our life experiences, and creating a resource that people can pull from and maybe find answers to their own problems. Well,
exactly.
Richard, it's been my pleasure to have you back in the studio here. And I look forward to talking to you next time. And I'm going to go ahead and close this recording out and we can continue talking here. And thank you to everybody who has been a part of this podcast. And if you're interested in learning more, hit me up. And this has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast brought to you by Willow Creek Springs. This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health-minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show, please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com, or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right. Well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.